Doug Capella.
I'm Jacob Hammers.
Jacob Hammers here, and we got your WCTV Game of the Week. Two schools separated by Split Log Road here in Williamson County. The host Ravenwood Raptors and the visiting Nolensville Knights. And Jacob, one thing that you and I kind of talked about before we really got to the point with the lights coming on is just how much youth there is between these two teams. I counted a total of 6 seniors amongst both squads tonight.
Yeah, Nolensville only having Ravenwood only having 3 upperclassmen in total on this girls' team. Nolensville 5 seniors alone on their team. That shows Ravenwood's youth and kind of how they're going to be pushing forward in the future past this year.
We got the starting lineups coming up here for Ravenwood, but don't let that fool you. They use just about their entire bench. And really it's a story, Jacob, of 2 different teams. Nolensville coming in with 14 wins, Ravenwood coming in with, I believe, 2. Ravenwood is really looking to just learn, grow, build their depth. And they got a strong class coming in from Woodland. Currently, their main feeder middle school is undefeated right now with a couple of big-time players down there, whereas Nolensville is looking to make some noise in the playoffs this year. And so kind of excited to see just how the youthfulness of Ravenwood meets the competitiveness of Nolensville tonight and how this game's going to shake out.
Yeah, talking to Coach James earlier this week for Ravenwood, he talked about a 12-man or woman rotation for this Ravenwood team. They utilize about everyone on their team, and they've had a strong freshman class. They've had a couple starting freshmen this year.
About to go to tip-off here. Size advantage goes to Josie Ladd, the 6'1" junior from Nolensville, coach's daughter, so you know she's going to be fundamentally sound for sure.
Yeah, 7.6 points per game so far in the season. Really a threat from the three-point line. With her 6'1" figure, she's still a threat from that far.
Easily wins the tip, and you said it, Josie Ladd, you think at 6'1" on the girls' team would be working the paint during warm-up, but she was content at the three-point line. Ravenwood strikes first. That's 24. Eleanor Vogus.
Vogus, a strong player for this Ravenwood team. 5'11", is able to get deep in the paint and is going to use her size advantage on number 34, Sarah Brakefield, for the Nolensville Knights.
Nolensville working the perimeter here, looking to see what's going to open up inside. Ladd scoots into the middle.
Brakefield smothered by Ravenwood. It's a steal for Ravenwood. That's number 2, Kylie White, for the Raptors.
Ravenwood turns it right back over into the hands of Josie Ladd, who's going to bring it down. Passes it off to Nyla Johnson, who's going to shoot the 3 in and out. Scramble for the ball. Nolensville comes up, winners on it, shoots and misses. The official stops play. We got a player down for Ravenwood. So Ravenwood, while we have the injury break here, comes out aggressive, attacks the hole. A couple loose balls there, pretty typical.
Yeah, Coach James earlier this week talked in practice that he's seeing the progress so far in this young team. He's had to watch them progress over time, and he's really trying to push this team to play more physical and play against teams that might be bigger than them.
Unfortunately for Raven, one of their few upperclassmen, that's going to be Ashlyn Burke, junior, 5'11" forward, is down, and looks like she's in some pain with her knee.
Yeah, knee injury is never what you want to see. There's a lot of bad things that can come from a simple knee injury, but she's gonna get up and she's gonna be helped off the court, and it's just good to see her walking, putting a little bit of pressure on, even if it's not much.
Looks like she's going to go right back to the trainer's room.
What do you think the keys for Nolensville to put their foot on this game and really assert their 14-3 record so far this season?
Sure, they're just going to calm down. I mean, Ravenwood's an in-town rival in just about every sport. And so even though the records are different, you know, familiarity, these kids have played each other since middle school. And so just to calm down and let the game come to them, not force anything.
I think the game's going to be facilitated through Nyla Johnson, especially. She's their one senior, and one of their 5 seniors. And the way she facilitates the court is really well. The 2 games they've lost this season that have been recorded, 27% from the field and 21% from the field. So she really shows how this team ends these games.
When you'd mentioned she outshoots on the free throw line by almost 20 shots every other player. So back and forth here in the first quarter so far. Ravenwood up 4-3. Good two-pass to the inside there. Give Josie Ladd the assist.
Ladd, three assists per game so far this season. She's not only a great scorer at 6'1" and a great defender, the way she moves the ball around is almost game-changing for this Nolensville team because they're not running through one player.
Ravenwood a little sloppy there with the turnover on their court. Dishes it inside. That's going to be shot by number 34, Sarah Brakefield. Blocked. Ravenwood pushing down court now. Pass inside, back outside, up for the three, in and out, no good. That was number 3, Reese Mall for Ravenwood on the miss.
Yeah, this Nolensville team has number 3 out there. That's MC Hodges. She's a freshman, which is surprising to see from this Nolensville team with how many older players. They've got 5 seniors on their team, lots of juniors and lots of sophomores. Seeing a freshman out there shows that they do have that young core, while Ravenwood is predominantly that young core itself.
Nolensville pressing and gets the turnover there. Quick two, they push the lead to 7-4. So Nolensville switching up a little bit on defense now. They're showing a half-court press here.
Yeah, and that was Brakefield for Nolensville. She's got 9 points per game this season. She's been she's the 3rd leading scorer for this team. She's been one of the most dominant players in the paint, especially looking at Reese Mall with 9.8 points per game. She's one of the bigger players on this team, and she facilitates the paint better than anyone else in this county.
Ravenwood looking for room. Nolensville's defense just smothering up to this point. Nyla Johnson with the steal. She's going to go all the way, dishes it to number 3. That's going to be Reese Mall on the basket. Good. Nyla Johnson with the steal and the assist. Nolensville pushing their lead 9-4.
Yeah, and this is something Coach James talked about in their coaches meeting. He knew that Nolensville was going to come out in this game and they were going to press and they were going to play aggressive and physical because that's what they've done all season. And I think right now that's getting to the young talent on this Ravenwood team. It's a pressure they haven't seen before coming straight out of middle school.
Well, Nolensville is just simply doubling the person on the ball, using the out of bounds as a third man. And it's caused 2 turnovers already, and the coach saw it again, calls a timeout. They're forcing Ravenwood into bad decisions and bad passes. And really turnovers early on have been the difference here with the score 9-4 because I think they have now 6 points off of turnovers. And so it just goes to show when you have a young team, they're going to make those mistakes.
And Coach James' key to win this game was taking care of the ball, avoiding those turnovers. That was his one key to staying in this game as a young Ravenwood team. And I think so far they're going to need to go into the break and kind of focus on that a lot.
Well, they're going to let Nyla Johnson here just pressure the ball carrier coming up court, not giving him any breathing room.
That's one thing Coach Ladd talked a lot about this season. He knows that Nyla Johnson's a top scorer in this league. But if you look at every single game, she's guarding the other team's best player, and she's holding them to under their averages. That is an underrated part of her game.
Nolensville working the perimeter here again. Back to Nyla Johnson, out to Josie Ladd. She's going to shoot 3, in and out, no good.
Looks like an over the top on Sarah Brakefield there. She's using her size to her advantage, and that's going to become very important later in this game if it stays close.
I mean, in Nolensville, again, applying the pressure. There's the double team.
Ravenwood's gonna have to play this game with a lot of basketball IQ. It's not gonna be won through sheer size and power. They're gonna really have to use their brains to figure out anything they can to avoid this pressure.
Addie Harris from Nolensville checks in. So there, Ravenwood beats the press, dishes it outside. 22 works it inside. It's blocked by Addie Harris. Josie Ladd on the possession, takes it up court, dishes it over to Johnson. Johnson outside, back out to Josie Ladd, who's going to shoot the 3 off the front of the rim and no good. Nyla Johnson there on the rebound. Lots of contact, no call here. Josie Ladd back up and misses again. Bit of a cold streak for Josie Ladd. 0 for her last 5, I believe, on the floor.
Yeah, and that's Haviland's first rebound of the game. She's a guard, junior, but 5'8", a tall guard for this Ravenwood team. She's going to be one of the stronger players for this Ravenwood team. Haviland, almost 10 points per game this season, really doing well to push the ball downfield, or down court, sorry.
Voges shooting 2 from the line, makes her first one. That's going to be 5 for your Raptors. Josie Ladd draws an early foul here in the period. 3:24 left to go. Voges second shot up and good.
Yeah, we just saw freshman Aaliyah Starr checking in for the Raptors. She's only 5'5" and a freshman, and she's going to be getting a lot of minutes in this game. The way she facilitates as a guard is beyond her years.
Nyla Johnson dishes it. Nolensville again working the perimeter, inside dish to Addie Harris, looking for space. Back outside, inside to Josie Ladd, kicks it back outside. 3 is up and good. The bank is open on the 3, number 23. It's going to be Ella Claire Tharp, senior.
Yeah, Ravenwood's going to try to push this tempo. They want to focus on a fast game. They don't want to let Nolensville get physical and keep their endurance. They want to tire this Nolensville team out so that they can not be forced out of scoring due to the Nolensville size.
So 2 quick fouls on 2 integral players here for Nolensville. First on Josie Ladd, now Nyla Johnson draws her first. Starr up and misses her first free throw. Knights doubling up the Raptors 12-6 here. Just about 3/4 of the way through the first quarter.
Yeah, in these rival games, you really can't count a team out. I don't care what the record is. 2-9 for Ravenwood, 14-3 for Nolensville. You cannot count out a team in a rivalry. There is a lot of heart going into this game. A lot of these players know players on the other teams, grew up with playing with them. You never really know what's going to happen. If Ravenwood keeps this passion, I mean, that's a steal. Number 40, Kate Jerwis right there. They're going to play physical when they can.
Addie Johnson tried to hit Josie Ladd with the behind-the-back pass inside. Got stolen. Ravenwood looking for some points here. Starr looking. Dribbles out of it. Guarded by Addie Harris.
The defense for Nolensville been a strong point this season. They've held a lot of teams under their averages on defense. Lots of steals per game, especially coming from Nyla Johnson and number 23 number 23 Ella Tharp.
So Ravenwood tries their own pressure there. No good. An easy basket there. That's going to be number 3, Reese Mall with the 2, pushes it 14-6. And Nolensville just playing simple man defense. They're not doing anything spectacular here. Ravenwood just having a hard time with ball control and the pressure that's being applied. They can't find space on the man defense here.
Something Ladd talked about a lot earlier this week when he was talking. He goes into these film breakdowns and scouting of the other team, and he's very simplistic. He focuses on getting the rebounds, pushing the ball up court, and not trying to get fancy. He doesn't want this team to be flashy. He wants them to pass the ball and play fundamentally, and that's what they're doing so far tonight.
15 for the Raptors. Chichi Nanodu tries to back down but misses the shot. Mall stops at the 3, passes inside to Addie Harris, takes a couple dribbles, back out to Mall. Mall's going to shoot the 3. No good. Fight for a rebound. Ball goes up, no foul called. Voges comes up with the ball down to Starr. Starr misses the layup. The rebound miss. Voges miss. Out of bounds. So just 3 prime opportunities there for points for Ravenwood, and just 3 missed baskets come up empty each time right in front of the rim. And if they're going to want to keep this game close, they're going to have to start hitting some of those close to the rim.
Ravenwood already missing 2 free throws this game. They're giving away the free points that are given to them by Nolensville. That's their best
shoots
chance.
The 3 in and good. Voges draws the lead to 5 for Nolensville with the 3.
Voges, the 5'11" freshman for this Ravenwood team. She's probably the star of this freshman class for Ravenwood, the way she shoots the 3 ball and can facilitate the paint so well with her size.
Nolensville dishes inside to Addie Harris. Addie Harris on the miss. Fights for the rebound. Jump ball. Possession arrow goes to Nolensville. 41.1 seconds left.
Addie Harris been a critical part of this Nolensville success. She has almost 7 points per game, and 5'11" again. A lot of tall players on this Nolensville team.
The dish directly to the 3-point line, up and no good. Turnover right there on the rebound. Shot 3 again, up and no good. Nolensville just shooting alley out here from the 3-point line.
Yeah, and that's the problem with this Ravenwood team right now. They can't get boards. If they're going to let Nolensville dominate the offensive glass and get second chances, they're going to win this game handily.
Still working the perimeter. Plenty of time left in the quarter. Harris with a swish brings the score 16-9. Ravenwood's got to be quick. 5 seconds. Shot is up and good.
16-12, ending the first quarter in this game so far.
Probably a little bit closer than Coach Ladd would like there. They had a few opportunities to really push the lead, but a couple key 3 baskets there right at the end of the quarter there brings the game pretty respectable. Ravenwood's got to come away thinking that was a decent first quarter overall.
Yeah, and you can see Nolensville's game plan. They're playing simplistic. They have Johnson pressing the ball carrier up the court, and they're just moving the ball and looking for open shots. There's nothing, we haven't seen a lot of scheduled plays so far.
Well, and when you look, I talked about it earlier, and you mentioned it, 2 missed free throws right there. That's the easy points off the board, and then 3 back-to-back misses from right under the rim. That's a 16-16 ball game if they hit any combination of those. And again, that's youthfulness will get you. It's a good growing experience for this team, but that's where the youth and the playing a lot of freshmen and sophomores is going to get you.
Yeah, Nolensville coming off of 2 losses in back-to-back years to Lincoln County by 3 in the regional tournament, trying to break that streak this year. Coach Ladd thinks that they personally have an easier path to the state championship this year, but they know it's not going to be easy. Easier doesn't mean easy for them, and it's gonna be a lot of hard work for this Nolensville team, especially they have to play their best games against some of the teams that they don't expect to win.
So just like that, back underway, second quarter here to start. Nolensville on defense, sticking with the man defense. Vogus driving in, working her body, and that's going to be 14-16. Drops a 2 on the Nolensville defense.
Yeah, and that's something Vogus does a lot. You see a lot of just backing down and forcing her opponents to be smaller than her, even if they aren't smaller. I mean, these are equal-sized matchup, but she's making this Nolensville team look tiny the way she's backing them down.
Well, and you never want to use a player's, especially female players' weight in the reference, but when you look at the size difference between Vogus and the girls like Josie Ladd and for Nolensville, they're just a different build. They're more wiry than Vogus is. Vogus is a little more muscular, and she can back them down. That's exactly what she did on that play for the 2. So quick turnover for Nolensville, and Ravenwood's going to take possession here, looking to tie the ball game up. Nyla Johnson on the bench getting a breather, sipping some sports drink over there. I would imagine she's probably going to check in here pretty quickly.
Yeah, Nyla Johnson's a real focal point of this Nolensville team. Obviously, I mentioned it earlier, those 27% from the field goal and 21 in those 2 losses. That's a big part of this team. If Nyla is efficient and she takes open shots and they go in, that's how this team's going to win the game.
Travel on Ravenwood there. The girl was trying to back down. There was nobody there, and she just kind of fell over. So that was a travel called. And Josie Ladd is going to inbound here. Brennan Rigsby taking the ball up. Dishes out to Maul. Maul looking at Ladd, says no. Addie Harris on the perimeter. Ladd good from about 20 feet out.
Yeah, and that's Ladd's game. She uses that 6'1" to her advantage. She can get over these players. They can't block her. That's why she's so good from the perimeter and so good from the mid-range. She can get over these players and make easy baskets.
Turnover Ravenwood. That's going to be backcourt there. Ball got away from the ball handler, and Nolensville says thank you very much. Ladd, and there's Johnson on cue, checks back in, got a sip and back in. Dishes it to Ladd. Ladd back out to Maul. Maul to Ladd. Ladd looking inside, back out to Maul. Maul to Johnson, thinks about it. Dribbles back to Ladd. Ladd's looking, finds Maul. Maul to Johnson. Johnson open for the 3, and it is good. A breakdown there defensively. I don't think they intended to leave Nyla Johnson open on the perimeter there for that easy 3 ball.
That's that ball movement we were talking about earlier. Nolensville is making this game simple in their eyes. They are just moving the ball. They are finding the open person, and they are moving the ball around the perimeter, and Ravenwood simply just can't keep up with the pace right now.
Clean block and out of bounds. They're going to give the possession to Nolensville. I think both players were looking for a foul on each other there. A block or a charge, neither was called, and the ball just rolled out of bounds. And Josie Ladd takes it up court.
Yeah, communication's been an issue for this Ravenwood team so far this season. They've had a lot of breakdowns on defense, leaving people like Nyla Johnson wide open with another three for Nyla, and that one goes in as well.
They may want to change their defensive strategy up if they're going to leave Nyla Johnson open for three, because she's shooting 100% on her last two, being wide open.
Yeah, and that was a deep three, too. She wasn't just on the perimeter there. She was a couple steps back. That's another piece of her game. She loves that deep three.
Travel that time. She took one extra step, and she shot that from Clarke range. In and out, but the travel was called beforehand. But the Knights, with the two back-to-back threes, pushed their lead to 10, 24-14 over the Raptors, and the wheels falling off a little bit for Ravenwood. Several turnovers here, and they just can't break the Nolensville pressure on D.
Ravenwood coming out of that end of the first quarter with some momentum in their back pocket. They had the crowd on their side, and it looked like they were going to be able to push that court. Now a 2-10 stretch since that quarter ended.
Another turnover, trying to find Vogus inside. Nyla Johnson on the steal. Dribbles up, has Maul on the outside, open for a second, decides to drive, blocked by Vogus. That's going to be a tough call for Maul to drive in on Vogus, giving up about 7 inches. Vogus at the free throw line says no, dishes it out for the three to number 22 for Ravenwood, Cora Haviland, and that's going to be no good. Addie Harris on the rebound. Addie looking up court, doesn't see anything she likes, dishes it out to Josie Ladd. Ill-advised cross-court pass, and Vogus is there for the steal. Looking to go dish, miss.
This
and Josie Ladd on the rebound.
Has been extremely impressive forcing these turnovers today. They've forced almost 6 turnovers so far this game. They're forcing Nolensville into making mistakes, but they're not executing on that. They can't finish the fast break or quick transition buckets.
Well, they are getting absolutely annihilated on the glass. I mean, Nolensville is just killing them on the offensive rebounds and the defensive side of the ball. And some of that, you're giving up a lot of height. Nolensville has a couple 6-foot players, but just they're not boxing out, and they're just getting killed on the glass underneath.
Yeah, and offensive rebounds are something you really can't give up. That giving them second chances after a miss is the last thing that this Raptors team wants to do, especially being down 12 now in the second quarter with 3.5 minutes remaining.
Andrew James, coach of the Raptors, saw enough of that business, called a timeout to try to slow things down a little bit, coach up this young squad for the Raptors. The lead is now 12 for the Knights, 3:36 left to go here in the second quarter.
Raptors coming off a 6-22 record last season, hoping to make that better. 2-9 so far this season, looking for a regional win against Nolensville tonight.
Refs letting them play a little bit choppy. You like to see it.
Yeah, a lot of aggression and physicality in this game so far, especially on the glass. You see Nolensville moving into more of a zone defense on this possession. You wonder how that is going to confuse this Ravenwood team after man-to-man for so long.
Ill-advised cross-court pass there. Addie Harris on the steal, but Ravenwood, this is going to be a jump ball. I believe Raptors have possession. So when you look at the score, Ravenwood has only put 2 on the board in this second quarter, and we are just over 5 minutes inside of it at the 2:52 mark.
Yeah, and it's not like they're not forcing opportunities. They're getting open opportunities. It's just finishing those opportunities and making these points happen.
34 for Nolensville. That's going to be senior Sarah Brakefield on the 2 inside. Doubled up Ravenwood again, 28-14. Got a man open underneath. There they find her. She shoots. It's going to be blocked.
That's Brakefield again. She had almost 3 blocks in their last game against against Page after a tough loss to Brentwood last Friday.
Nolensville settling down in their zone defense, which is just takes a little less out of you to play zone than it does man. Three ball up and good. That's going to be Kylie White on the three.
And that's exactly why this Nolensville team started the game in man. They're running a 3-2 zone, now a high three. That low two just left her wide open in the corner. You saw the lower two defenders just not looking for those corners, trying to guard the paint, and that leads to wide open threes.
Addie Harris with the ball looking around. Has it out to Rigsby. Rigsby back to Harris. Harris out to Tharp. Tharp thinks about it, dishes it inside, and it's stolen.
And that's the senior for Ravenwood, Kate Jerwis. A lot of steals this season, using her physicality to the best that she can. She really fights for the ball, and she swarms the ball when it's around her.
Well, if you look who's out there, there's a lot of, for lack of a better term, starters out for Nolensville. Coach Ladd resting a good bit of his players.
Yeah, and that's what they like to do. They get the starters out, they try to get an early lead, and they let the bench do what they can. And right there, you saw a block.
Back-to-back blocks there for the Knights. Brennan Rigsby is going to take it up.
Yeah, and Harris and Brakefield, a real threat duo in the paint with their size and their physicality. They have almost 5 blocks per game average together this season.
Addie Harris drives inside, dishes it back out. Rigsby bash inside to number 34. It's going to be Brakefield on the 2. 30-17 as the half winds down. Just under 15 seconds to play. Ravenwood probably just looking to have the last possession here. But what I've noticed is they're really just trying to survive on shooting threes. And I don't know that they're going to be able to do that or keep it even close just to make a random three every now and again. Right there, air ball there to end the half. And so like that, it's 30-17. 5 second quarter points there for Ravenwood's just not going to cut it when Nolensville added 14. And so they're going to have some talking to do in the locker room there, but I just think that this is what we probably expected to see here. The better, more talented, and more experienced older team of Nolensville just really taking advantage of the youthful inexperience of the Ravenwood team.
Yeah, this Ravenwood team looks confused on defense. We saw they ended up triple teaming Brakefield in the paint, not even giving them a chance to look for the players behind them going for an easy bucket. And when your back is turned to the glass, how are you going to get a rebound?
We're going to go ahead and break for the half. WCTV Game of the Week. Nolensville Knights visiting the Ravenwood Raptors. We'll be back at the half. We're back in action here, second half of the girls contest on your WCTV game of the week, visiting Nolensville here at Ravenwood with the lead, which just got extended 32-17 on Nyla Johnson's inside bucket. I'm Doug Capella, and I'm here with
Jacob Hammers.
Jacob Hammer time here on this Friday night. So turnovers have kind of been the story of the first half for Ravenwood. Only scored 2 points in that second quarter, which allowed the Knights to push to a 13-point lead, which is now 15-point lead.
Yeah, we saw Ravenwood miss 3 opportunities in just one sequence in that first half alone on transition. They've just struggled on the quick transition, easy shots even. Like, they missed 2 free throws in that first half, have missed wide open buckets. It's just the inconsistencies and inefficiencies that have put Nolensville ahead so far.
Well, and to not discredit the hard work of players there like Vogus, who just drove down and dropped 2 on the Knights defense, but the Knights have kind of been able to do what they've wanted. They've switched their defense 3 different times. They went from a man pressure look in the first quarter to then a 3-2 zone, a 2-3, or a 3-2 zone rather up top, and a 2-3 zone down. And they've really just kind of been able to do what they've wanted. They've been able to score when they wanted.
Yeah, and you'd think the size of players like Josie Ladd that just made that 3-pointer, you'd think that that size is really what is killing Ravenwood, but I think it's truly just the inconsistencies right now, not making those open shots and taking the opportunities when they're given.
Fast break pass off the turnover to Nyla Johnson, who's going to easy score 2. That pushes the second half lead to 18. And I think halfway through the second quarter, Coach Ladd for the Knights just decided to rest his entire starting lineup for a good duration, and that's really what allowed it to kind of stalemate for a while. But the starter's back in now, and they've dropped a quick 4. Josie Ladd missed the inside basket there. Ravenwood just trying to slow it down and regain some composure. Vogus winded up and down the court numerous times on those breaks. Vogus with the ball now at the 3-line, tries to get it inside. Ball's tipped back inside. That's a 2 for Chichi Nanodu, who's been trying all night to make it work inside the paint. Just hasn't had the ball drop her way. Gets it there for the 2.
Yeah, Chichi currently making her way back into the lineup, was out for a little bit, making her way back, trying to get back in the groove of things. She's been getting better each week. That's what Coach James told us earlier this week, talking about how Chichi, Jerwitz, these are players that have been preparing so much for this game and playing so physical so far, just trying to do anything they can to cut this deficit.
Vogus looks, dishes, and turns it over. It's going to be Rigsby bringing the ball up, dishes it out to Ladd, who's going to look inside, dishes it inside, back to herself off the player's body, and there you go. Ball bounced back to her after hitting Sarah Brakefield, and she drops 2 inside. 39-21 for your Lady Knights with the lead here in the third quarter.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. Ravenwood's banking a lot on that 3-point ball right now. Not a lot of efficiency, just going for threes, trying to climb their way back into this game. And a lot of what they're depending on defense is blocks. And Josie Ladd, as she makes the 3, as I'm about to mention her, she is someone that is almost unblockable for this Ravenwood team with her height and her size, and that's why she's had free and open threes and mid-ranges so far this game.
Well, and she was a little icy in the first quarter, but she's definitely turned that around and heated it up. I think she's got 7 points in the third quarter alone already. And again, the Knights double up the Raptors 42-21.
Yeah, and this game looked pretty close early on in that first quarter. Only a 4-point lead after the first quarter. Looked like Ravenwood was getting the momentum, getting the chance to get back in this game, and ultimately Knights pulled off a 10-2 run coming straight out of that second quarter and almost ripped the heart of these Raptors out. It looks like, not that they've given up, but you can see the passion and the aggression and the physicality so far to start even just this half for the Knights.
Well, and Ravenwood honestly just has not been able to establish any kind of rhythm on offense. They haven't been able to set up any plays. Again, they look like they're just trying to survive on offense, and that's where you're seeing these three-pointers come from, just trying to get something going. And it's been really, really inconsistent on Ravenwood's part. Lots of turnovers, lots of bad passes, a couple of cross-court passes, ill-advised. And again, just the youthfulness of this Raptor team.
Talking to Coach James earlier this week for Ravenwood, he said his key to winning this game is winning the board battle, and that's something they haven't done so far. Nolensville is dominating the offensive and defensive boards, but the amount of second chances Nolensville's got on this offensive side is truly allowing them to run this score up.
Well, and on defense, you can't put a sheet of paper in between a Nolensville defender and that offensive player. They are playing tight on defense, and they're not giving the Raptors room to breathe. And it's just forced turnover after turnover. They just can't handle the ball with this Nolensville defense. These girls are on them. Aaliyah Starr there in the paint, carries it in like a football and gets two out of it, drops the layup. 42-23 your score.
Starr, the freshman we talked about earlier in this matchup. She's a strong physical presence at the guard position, which is not something you see a lot, as Addie Harris sinks the mid-range for the Knights, bringing the score back up to 21.
Good look there for Addie Harris at the top of the key. That just looked too easy. Good follow-through on her shot, two-bucket. 22 on the Raptors. Cora Havlin drops the two, but the foul was called on the floor, so the bucket won't count.
It's going to be the first foul on number 10 for the Knights, Kylie Mendoza.
Starr drives again, and in and out goes the basket. Addie Harris takes it up. Dishes it into Ladd. Ladd out to Johnson. Johnson over to Mall, who's going to shoot the three. Ball rolls out after the rebound attempt from Vogus.
Once again, an offensive board for this Nolensville team, just keeping the pressure on. Johnson, one of the main scorers on this team. That's going to be a shot for number 10, Kylie Mendoza, no good. Rebounded by Aaliyah Starr and the Raptors.
Mendoza seeing her first action of the night here in the third quarter. Knights up 21. Your score 44-23.
The lone senior for the Raptors, Kate Jerwitz, checking in for the Raptors. She brings the physicality to this Raptors team, and they're really going to need her going forward in this matchup. They're going to try to close this gap.
22 there. Cora Havlin shoots the three. No good off the pass from Starr. Addie Harris driving down. Looks for a pass to Ladd there. Tried to squeeze it in between two Raptors, and no good. Ball's out of bounds. Knights will retain possession.
For the Knights there. Bringing a lot of other players in. Johnson coming out, Ladd coming out, Mendoza coming out. A lot of the star power on this team is coming out of the game and going to the bench right now. Another turnover for the Knights.
Call on the floor goes against the Knights. Ravenwood will take possession. Starr brings it up. Rigsby out there. She's what I would call your sixth man. Gets a lot of playing time. Mall and Harris still out on the floor.
Yeah, and Mall's a really physical defender. She has a lot of steals this season. She is handsy on defense, but she's not too handsy. She knows when it's going to be called a foul, and she knows how to get the ball without getting those calls and running up her foul count.
I don't think we had 3 whistles in the first half, and we've had 3 whistles in the last 25 seconds. Out to Vogus, who's going to shoot the three off the front of the rim. No good. Ball rolls out of bounds, and the Knights will gain possession. So Ravenwood down 21 here. Just settling back on defense, not really pressuring this Nolensville offense.
Yeah, Nolensville's really had full control to do whatever they want so far. And they've kept the game simplistic as Mall puts up a three, no good. Rebound by Harris. actually, sorry, to Ravenwood.
Aaliyah Starr going to try to go coast to coast. Smart foul there on Rigsby. Has plenty to give. Didn't want to give the easy layup there.
Yeah, and that's the physicality from Rigsby. She's only 5'5", but she's playing like one of the most physical players tonight. You see Starr on your screen, a really promising freshman for this Raptors team.
Starr's going to shoot 2 here from the line. She was 0 for 2 on her last trip from the line and make it 0 for 3.
And that's those free points we talked about earlier. We've discussed this multiple times tonight. Raptors cannot take their free points. They have to make free throws like this.
Nanodu spells Vogus. Starr on her second shot. That's going to be good. So 1 for 4 on the night is Starr from the free throw. That's going to bring the lead to 20 for Nolensville. Rigsby take the ball up past half court. Surveying what she's got in front of her. Dishes it out to Tharp. Tharp to Harris. Harris back to Rigsby. Rigsby to Mall. Working the perimeter. Back to Harris, who mishandles the ball, recovers.
The Raptors defense playing well on this possession. Have struggled with their size, obviously, and that's a trip for Lila Myers on Ravenwood. But this team is playing well. They're holding their defense. They're playing man right now.
Nanodu looking to go coast to coast. Can't get it to drop, but does draw the and 1 foul. She will go to the line and shoot 2.
Crucial points for the Raptors here. They have to start taking advantage of their free points and building momentum so that they can try to close this 20-point gap.
Got a celebrity appearance on the court. There's Pam Vaden, the principal of the Ravenwood Raptors, making her way to the side. Nanodu goes 0 for 2 from the line. Raptors struggling from the free throw line tonight. Nyla Johnson lines up a 3, decides to drive inside, dishes it out, back out to Johnson.
1 for 6 in their last 6 free throws for the Raptors. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but that drops this game to a 15-point deficit rather than 20 so far.
Knights are content just working the perimeter. No shot clock here in girls basketball. Good follow through. Scarlett Spain, all 5'5" of her, cleans the glass, gets the putback, gets the 2. 46-24, your new score here. Under a minute to go in the third.
Yeah, and she has the ability to be really sneaky behind the glass there. You saw her sneak behind as Jurwitz goes behind the back and gets the bucket for the Raptors.
Jurwitz goes under the rim and over the shoulder and gets the basket. Johnson no good. Ladd on the rebound no good. Back out to Addie Harris all alone at the 3, no good. Bit of a cold spell here for the Knights on the floor shooting.
Yeah, the Raptors need to start taking advantage of this cold spell. Only 2 points in about the last 3 minutes for the Knights, and the same thing for the Raptors. They've missed 4 free throws in that span. Then not being able to take advantage of this cold streak for the Knights is what's putting them down 20 right now.
22, Cora Haviland's going to go to the line and shoot 2. Foul was on Addie Harris. I believe that's her first of the night. And the struggles continue for the Raptors from the free throw line. Another miss for Haviland.
Yeah, bringing them up to 1 out of 7 in their last 7 free throws. Really just struggling from the line tonight.
1 for 1. She's going to be the highest percentage free throw shooter of the night at 500. Johnson brings it up court. 10 seconds to go here in the third. Johnson crosses up, banks shot, it's good. Lead back to 21. Haviland's going to shoot just inside the three-point line, no good. And that's where our score will stay entering the fourth quarter. Nolensville 48, Ravenwood 27 on your WCTV Game of the Week. Doug Capella with Jacob Hammer Time Hammer over here. Well, I think it's kind of settling into what we thought it would be.
Yeah, early in this game, it kind of looked like Ravenwood was going to have a chance to stick in it. And, their 2-9 record shows a lot, but it doesn't show anything in a rivalry game like this. There was always a chance for them to get in it, but looks like Nolensville is just kind of keeping their composure and not letting Ravenwood crawl back into this game.
Well, and we did see Coach Ladd not empty the bench per se, but he did get some bench players some time, some significant time in that third quarter. We saw Kylie Mendoza come in for a spell. Scarlett Spain came in for a little bit. And it gave some of those starters some good breathable minutes on the bench to get ready for the fourth quarter. And you'll probably see, I would imagine when we get halfway through this quarter, you'll probably see just about his whole bench on the floor.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier. We thought Ravenwood was going to have a 12-woman rotation tonight, and we really haven't seen a lot of diversity on this Ravenwood attack. You don't know, maybe Coach James was trying to switch it up from what they've been doing, but not a lot of diversity for the Raptors. More for the Knights tonight.
Well, when you got a young team like he does, it really does take a bit of games to see exactly what you got, who plays well together. And so he may now just be settling on who his 5 are going forward. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Voges. We've seen a lot of Haviland. Kate Urowich is another one.
And I think finding a rhythm like that for the Raptors, while this game might not be going exactly how they wanted it to, finding a rhythm like this is going to push them forward for the later parts of this season, where if they can get in a groove, they can start winning some games.
It's kind of surprising for the Raptors. You have Nanodu that swaps in and out with Voges. They're both tall. You might want to have them on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, the Raptors leaving a smaller rotation out consistently. I think if they were to put in some of their taller players that can be physical, get in the paint, and get the boards against a big team like Nolensville, I think that would push them forward a lot.
2 ball goes up, and it's good. That's going to be Kylie White for the Raptors. It's her second 3 on the night.
Another one of those young stars for the Raptors, just a sophomore, 5'5". She shoots the 3 ball well, and she's done really well at getting into that mid-range and pushing forward in what she needs to do.
Wide open is Ladd underneath. Good ball movement there. Good look on the court. Ladd drops the easy 2, pushes the lead back to 20, 50-30.
Ravenwood just looking for a little bit of hope to get them back in this game. Anything they can find, cutting the lead down to 20 now, hoping that they can push that further.
Nolensville again showing a 2-3 zone. Ravenwood taking a lot of time off the clock on this possession. Haviland shoots for the 3, airballs it. Good, strong inside move by Jurowicz. Cleans the glass, drops the 2. And that's going to bring the lead under 20 to 18.
Yeah, and that's the experience of Jurowicz showing. They are a young team. Having a leader like Jurowicz, a senior, that is able to push them forward and play that physical game, set the tone for this team. That's what's going to be important for Ravenwood tonight, to even show a glimmer of hope going into their next game and as their season progresses.
Raptors call a timeout after the basket there. Not quite sure what Coach James is wanting to talk about there on that. Maybe celebrate that they got an offensive rebound, perhaps.
Yeah, I think one thing they need to look at is being purposeful with the ball. Right now, it looks like they're just passing the ball around aimlessly, not knowing what they want to do with it. I think if they became a little more purposeful with the ball, looking for open looks, looking on how to get an open look, it just kind of looks like they're a little confused and lackluster out there tonight.
Well, that's right. You got 6 minutes to play. You're down by 18. You can't have a 45-second possession. You got to get some points. You got to be a little more up-tempo. But I just think with Nolensville sitting in a 2-3 zone, they're not giving them any room to operate, and they're playing sound defense. So Ravenwood's just really doing what they can, and I think that's what Nolensville wants to do, is limit possessions and just run this clock. You're probably going to see a lot of ball movement here on the offensive side for Nolensville just to bring this clock down.
Yeah, and running the zone for Nolensville is really helpful for them. If they're able to keep their stamina up, they're not running as much as a man as how they started this game, as the ball goes to Nyla Johnson in the paint, blocked.
Tipped over to Ladd, back to Ladd on the air ball, foul. Ladd's going to go to the line, and I believe, Jacob, if I'm not wrong, this is the first time Nolensville has gone to the line tonight.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. We haven't seen them get any calls tonight, and we've seen Ravenwood missing almost 8 shots so far from the free throw line.
Josie Ladd, again, the coach's daughter here. She's going to be technically sound, and it would not surprise me if she made both free throws here. She's probably shot over 1 million in her young life already. Oh, and I spoke it into existence. She missed the second shot.
That's how it goes.
Coach Ladd, that's on me. That's my fault.
I'm sure he'll want to come have a conversation with you later. Talk about that.
Ruining his daughter's free throw percentage. But just like that, the Knights are back to the line. Number 34, Sarah Brakefield. Misses her first one.
Free throw is a struggle for both teams tonight as Brakefield goes for her second.
0 for 2 does go Brakefield, so that's going to be 51-32 turnover. And another turnover, and the Raptors regain possession off the inbound. Coach James for Ravenwood calls another timeout, I think, just to settle his squad down. The ball was going all over the place.
Yeah, and that's the purpose again. It doesn't look like Ravenwood knows where they want the ball to be. They're just trying to get it in that open space because Nolensville's creating such a heavy presence. They're swarming the ball, and they're not letting Ravenwood think about where they want that ball to be.
You know, 5.5 minutes in a basketball game can be an eternity, but in this game, you just don't feel like that's anywhere near enough time for Ravenwood to make any serious push to make this close, because throughout the game they haven't been able to maximize open shots or turnovers or trips to the free throw line. And I think Nolensville is just going to be content to run clock on offense.
Yeah, in games that you're an underdog, you have to take advantage of what is given to you. Teams will mess up. They will make mistakes. That is your job to take advantage of, and I don't think Ravenwood has been able to do that exactly how they planned to tonight, and I think that's what creates this 19-point deficit.
So 5:27 here to go in the final quarter. Raptors 32, visiting Knights 51, and just like that, Raptors turn it over. Rigsby to Maul. Maul out to 34. It's going to be Brakefield. Brakefield back to Maul. Maul back to Brakefield. Brakefield on the inside. Little soft touch and in. Pushes the lead back over 20. 53-32.
Brakefield, one of the stronger players for this Knights team, is going to use her physicality and strength to push and box out in the paint. When you see someone like Josie Ladd, 6'1", but maybe not as strong and as muscular, they're going to use her more at the perimeter, the floater game. That's where she's going to become more helpful compared to Brakefield, really dominating the paint so far.
I think the officials must have left their whistles in the locker room for the first half and brought them back out for the second half. Seen a lot of calls in what was at first a very chippy yet no call first half to maybe they just don't want it to get too aggressive here, I guess, in the second half.
Yeah, and both teams still showing physicality, but these refs are most certainly letting it go a little more in that first half. We've seen almost double the amount of free throws we saw in that first half so far.
It's going to be off the feet there of number 2, Kylie White, for the Raptors. I was going to say if they didn't inbound that pass, that was going to be a 5-second violation, but they got it off the foot, and Nolensville will take possession here. Nyla Johnson brings it up with not much urgency. Harris out at the top, over to Ladd, back to Nyla Johnson. Johnson's going to look, has Harris up top. Over to Maul. Maul back to Johnson. Johnson to Maul. Maul's going to shoot from the top. Bucket. Count it. That's a 2. It's going to be 55-32. Knights are pulling away here. Just over 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Another turnover. Josie Ladd gets possession. Ladd's going to drive. Looks, dishes off of a Raptor player, excuse me. Wrestle for the ball. It's going to be a jump. And I'm going to assume that's going to be Nolensville's ball here, and it is.
On the last possession, we saw Johnson's ability to pass, that she's not just a pure scorer, she also passes the ball so well. She has offers from Tennessee Tech so far and still getting interest from other schools. It looks like she's going to be going at least D2 in college.
Harris bodies and misses, but Breakfield's there to clean the glass and drop the 2. Knights on a little bit of a run here, push the lead to 25. The Knights have switched back to man defense.
Surprising considering they want to waste this time. They want this game to end as fast as possible. And they're going to tire some of their starters out before I think some of their players on the bench currently are going to come into this game.
Aaliyah Starr, good looking drive. Bucket just doesn't fall. Pretty close. Ladd drives, looks inside, has Breakfield there. Breakfield puts it up and in.
Breakfield having an extremely impressive game. The way that she's facilitated the paint so far tonight, her teammates know that she is there no matter what. They're just throwing the ball up and knowing that she'll bring it down. Johnson
on the steal. Barring any unforeseen tragedy, that's going to be an easy basket, and it is. Knights pulling away, up by 29 with just over 2.5 minutes to play. Johnson on the steal again to Ladd. Ladd finds Maul. Maul misses. See who has possession here. That's going to go to Ravenwood. And here comes the bench clearing for Nolensville. 2.5 minutes to go.
Looks like the same for Ravenwood. I think both teams preparing for what's going to be a quick exit to this game.
So Addie Harris remains. Other than that, the other 4 check out. You got Mendoza and Spain back in. Senior Ella Claire Tharp checks in. And junior Brooklyn Pring.
The physical Nanodu checking in for the Raptors. She's going to be leading this bench roster and this 5 right now. Her physicality is something that's been admired by Coach James a lot, as we've talked to him this week.
Pring up and misses. Raptors will get possession. Knights push the lead to 29. Just under 2 to go here. And what will go down as a Knights victory. Nanodu tries, misses, tries again, gets the basket and the call. She'll go to the line and shoot 1.
Yeah, 1 for 2 so far in the game for Nanodu from the free throw line, hoping to increase that percentage that has been pretty low for Ravenwood so far tonight.
Shot is up and it is good, so Nanodu converts the 3-point play. Lead 26 for the Raptors, or for the Knights, correction.
The Raptors' young squad getting even younger with this bench unit in.
Taylin Mosqueda dribbled herself into a corner there and turned the ball over.
Just careless passes like that have gotten this Raptors team in trouble. It doesn't look like they know where the ball's going, nor can they really control where the ball is going. It looks like Nolensville's in full control of where the ball is at all times.
Mosqueda commits the blocking foul there on Nanodu. Nanodu will go to the line. .106 here to play. Your score, Nolensville 63, hosts Raptors 35 on your WCTV doubleheader, girls and boys game of the week.
Nolensville coming out with a strong road victory tonight. this team is building momentum, and they're building it fast. They're excited for the regional tournament, considering no district tournaments this year. Nolensville's excited to break the streak of losing 2 years in a row in the regionals.
Nanodu missed her first, shooting her second. Ball is up, and it is good. Your new score, 36-63. Numbers transposed, if you know what that means, but the score going to be not something the Raptors can overcome here with under a minute left to play.
Nolensville just trying to get the last possession, get out of this game. Turnover by the Knights.
Nanodu drops two more. 30 seconds and counting here. Nolensville would be content to just pass it around and let the clock run.
The Raptors still playing aggressive, still trying to get as many points as they can. Playing physical defense right now.
Mosqueda drives in and draws the foul.
The foul difference between the first and second half has really been extremely significant. We saw only 6 free throws shot in the first half. We've seen 6 in the last 30 seconds here. Really just a tale of 2 different halves, and Nolensville ultimately just pulled away so fast in the second half, left no chance for this Ravenwood team to come back.
Mosqueda sinks her second free throw. Ravenwood quick, Mosqueda with the block. Good D there, sinks the free throw and then comes back and blocks the fast break shot. And that's the game. Your first of 2, Nolensville 65, Ravenwood 38. That'll drop the Raptors to 2-10. Nolensville will improve to 15-3.
Tough loss for the Raptors tonight at home, but there was a lot of promise in that first half. They started the game off, keeping it close, ending the first quarter at only a 4-point deficit, having the momentum. Coach James and this Raptors team should have a lot to look forward to in the next cupping games.
All right, we'll be underway with the boys here in a few moments. Until then, grab some popcorn, get a soft drink. We'll be back in a moment. So here we are back after a brief intermission between the girls and the boys. Ravenwood starting lineup underway. Expecting a ruckus crowd here tonight. Jacob, we got the full student section for Nolensville, and we're seated right behind the Ravenwood student section in what promises to be an exciting matchup here between two teams that are separated by about 6 miles.
Yeah, a strong rivalry game for both of these teams. There's going to be a lot of passion and a lot of excitement going into this. I think both teams are going to play as hard as they have this season.
You got to love those basketball warm-up pants Ravenwood got, the red and white stripes. You know, when I first saw it, I thought they beat up Colonel Sanders and took his outfit, but looking pretty good, I must say.
Haven't seen breakaway pants like that in a long time.
It's unique for sure. So Nolensville comes in with a record of 14-3. Ravenwood stands at 9-6, and like we mentioned earlier, sometimes you just got to throw the records away when you have crosstown rivals squaring off, and so I'm excited to see just exactly how this one plays out. If the crowd will get involved, the gym's pretty full here.
Ravenwood coming off a big win this Tuesday against Columbia after a 4-game losing streak. They're looking to keep their momentum going, and they are trying to get their first regional win this year.
Coach Hooper for Ravenswood, a former colleague of mine at Laverne High School where he coached basketball there. Hooper, I've known him for years, good guy. Let's see what he can do against what's probably the favorite here tonight, Nolensville, the Knights, led by number 11, Chris Johnson, senior.
Yeah, an impact player tonight for the Knights. Number 2, Brody Cooper, was on JV as a junior just last season, kept his head down, kept grinding, and has now become a starter for the Knights.
Nolensville wins the tip, works the perimeter. Johnson inside dish is blocked. Back into Johnson, easy basket. They might want to do something in that lane if they want Johnson to not drop 25 on him here in this game.
Yeah, that first block was number 25 for the Raptors, Sam Steppen, the guy from California, coming off with 2 MVPs at Pioneer High School in the Bay Area up in California. Him and Becca Williams both coming from California for this season at Ravenwood.
Nolensville goes for the quick steal, nothing there. Number 3 for the Raptors in, that's going to be Braden White with the bucket, junior, 5'8".
Yeah, a lot of young talent on that Ravenwood girls team. The same thing on their guys team. They're young, but they're experienced.
Johnson, good dish to fellow senior Brody Cooper on the 2. Fast-paced action here to start off the night. No pun intended.
Johnson, really that X-factor guy for the Knights. Whitlock talking earlier this week, talking about how Johnson's always been the X-factor when he's had to scout this team specifically.
33 for the Raptors. That's going to be Isaac Brent on the fadeaway. 6'4" senior draws it even at 4.
Yeah, Ravenwood, their paint presence is known. They make themselves known. They're a physical team, and they're going to try to hurt Johnson when he's backing people down in that paint.
Nolensville working the ball around. Ball's out to McKelvey. McKelvey looks, gets it cross court to number 14. That's going to be Beckett Gray. Drops the 3. Pushes it to 7-4, Knights lead.
Beckett Gray's been super helpful for this team. Rylan McKelvey gets the steal and gets fouled.
Hard foul there, number 3, Braden White. McKelvey thought he had 2 easy points. Instead, he's going to go to the line and shoot 2.
McKelvey, the transfer from Centennial, coming for his senior season. Coach Godice for the Knights talked about how important it was to have McKelvey on his team and not on Centennial hitting big shots against them.
McKelvey sinks his first. And his second drops, makes quick work of that, pushes the lead to 5. Just like that, Knights are up 9-4.
Nolensville, a heavy favorite coming into this game with their impressive start to the season. A lot of their losses coming from really strong teams, most recently Page. And that's a bucket for number 2 on Ravenwood, Will McCarter.
McKelvey dishes it to Johnson inside. Johnson backs him down. Backdoor window there. No good. Johnson on the glass. Cleans it up. Misses. Pushed out, but Ravenwood on the rebound. For the 3, just like that, the score is tied off of the 3 from Isaac Brent.
And not only can Brent be a big physical presence in the paint, he can shoot that 3 ball, and he just showed that there. He's going to make this night's defense really struggle to try to guard him all night.
Double team McKelvey up top. He dishes it out. Back to McKelvey. Has it stolen by number 3. Braden White with the pump gets McKelvey to jump. Sinks the easy 2, and for the first time of the night, Ravenwood has the lead, 11-9.
Yeah, White only 5'8" compared to guys like Ryland McKelvey, and he's forcing turnovers. He's got another quick transition.
No good on the initial, no good on the follow. Ravenwood just trying to settle it down, back-to-back steals.
Just looking at it from up here, you can tell the size advantage that Nolensville has. But this Ravenwood team is playing so physical to start. Braden White, 5'8", already 3 steals in this game. He's becoming one of the most important parts of this Ravenwood defense.
A lot of emotion early on here for the home Raptors. Nolensville just trying to settle it down. Inside to the big man, 32. That's going to be Brooke Wisner. Drops the bucket. Raptors with their biggest lead of the night, 4.
It's an 8-0 run for the Raptors. Taking the momentum, their section is getting louder and louder as this game's gone on. Johnson's going to need to take over for this Nolensville team to start getting momentum back.
Inside off of his own miss, number 2, Brody Cooper. Breaks the run by the Raptors, and at your first timeout, and what's been almost too fast for me to call, Raptors lead 13-11 with 3:14 left in what has been a fast-paced, action-filled first quarter.
Yeah, in my conversation earlier this week with Coach Gedice, he really praised Brody Cooper and the way that he has earned his way to the top. Junior on JV, uncommon to see him getting any minutes as a senior on varsity, and he's become probably the second guy for this Nolensville team right after Chris Johnson.
Well, it looks like Nolensville's really just trying to clamp down on Johnson and eliminate him from beating him. And right now, Nolensville just hasn't done a great job of figuring out how to move the ball around for him to clear things up. McKelvey had 2 quick turnovers, which led to that scoring run.
Yeah, Nolensville needs to open up the perimeter. They need to scare Ravenwood and make sure that they are guarding the perimeter. You want to see Riley McKelvey, you want to see Brody Cooper out on the perimeter taking shots. In their loss to Brentwood earlier, just last Friday, they shot only 27% from the 3, and now you see a ref down.
We just had an collision. Official goes down hard. Think he may have rolled his ankle.
Trainer's coming out to look at the ref.
There was a call there before the official went down. I'm not sure what the call was. It happened so fast.
Yeah, I think the focus right now is just making sure the official is up and hopefully able to walk this injury off. You see him stretching his knee out, see what he can do, and put pressure on.
So Raptors lead 13-11, 3:03 left in the first period. The applause you may hear in the background, the official's up, moving around. I think he's going to make it. I think he took a fall, looks okay. Players go over and give him a little bit of a hard time there, but it looks like he's going to be all right. Trying to sort out who exactly has possession and what the call was.
Yeah, this Nolensville team is going to have to use their size to their advantage. That's where they excel the most. You see number 23 for Ravenwood. That's going to be Danny Brown. He is a big physical football player for this team, and that's what they're going to try to use against this smaller, in a muscular standpoint, Nolensville team.
Ravenwood on the turnover, had a good backdoor pass, just didn't go through. B.J. Hall is going to take the ball up for the Knights.
B.J. Hall in his first game returning from injury. Just confirming that he's going to be playing this morning. He's a crucial part for this team, and he's someone that they haven't had for a couple of weeks. Surprise,
turnover Knights.
Kickball there. Braden White looking for options.
Easy basket there for the Raptors. 23, that's going to be Danny Brown.
And Coach Hooper really emphasized that this Ravenwood team went to state and had to get their football players on this basketball team late. And that's a big block from Ryland McKelvey, the transfer from Centennial. As I was saying, Coach Hooper really emphasized not getting these Ravenwood football players in until late, and Danny Brown is one of those guys. It took him a second to integrate in, and they didn't have as much time as some of the other guys that have been working out since September and even August.
The best word for Ravenwood tonight is just relentless. They've gone at these Nolensville offensive players and just forced turnover after turnover. Nolensville just looked unsettled from the start, and they're just looking for some breathing room on offense.
Yeah, and Coach Gedice's key to win was winning the board battle for Nolensville, and that's what they're trying to do as Cooper puts up a three in the corner.
Three ball up, no good. Dishes it out. B.J. Hall there for the three, no good. Rebound Ravenwood, and they go quickly up court. They dish it out for the three, and that's going to be nothing but net. Number 11, Brooks Brown.
Brown, not a guy who started every game, but he has been so useful for this Ravenwood team down the stretch from the three-point line. His perimeter play has become so important for this Ravenwood team as they try to drive to the basket. He is such a good out guy for them, and he makes a lot of his shots.
There's an appearance by Chris Johnson. He's been kind of on a milk carton the last couple minutes. Has the tip in there to draw the lead to 5 points. Raptors lead 18-13.
Finally getting their 6'10" big man into the swing of things. He's a forward, but he plays every position on the court. He knows how to facilitate this offense. Another bucket for Sam Steppen, the guy from California. Ravenwood holds a 7-point lead with 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Johnson spins, and it's in.
Another two for Johnson there. I believe that's 6 points for the first quarter for Johnson. He needs to reappear in a big way, both offensively and defensively. They've left the paint open on the other side of the court.
And Johnson's a finesse guy in the paint. He doesn't necessarily use his size and power, but he uses the finesse that he has, and that's why that spin move has been so helpful. And that's a block for Johnson as we're talking about him.
Ravenwood not able to turn out the quarter on two, but they're up by 5. And what has been mostly a disappointing quarter for the Knights, coming in here as the favorite. But we knew going in it would be a close contest between crosstown rivals.
Yeah, everyone in the building up on their feet. There's a lot of momentum swinging towards the Raptors simply due to this large student section that's just to our right. They are able to play with so much aggression and so much passion, and you can see that in they swarm every loose ball, and it's really been so important for how they've forced Nolensville to get off their feet. They're unsettled. They don't know what's going on, and they're trying to adjust right now.
Well, Nolensville, they've filled up an entire section for the student section over there. It looks to be some sort of blackout from the Nolensville Knights.
Yeah, and something Coach Gadice really emphasized earlier this week was getting downhill for this Nolensville team, getting quick transitions is what's opening up the opportunities for Chris and Brody to really work inside. Getting the ball, there's so much emphasis on Chris Johnson. They're able to push the ball to Brody Cooper on the outside. They've got Rylan McKivley. So many guys that can do it from the three-point line. They need to focus on getting quick transitions and getting steals on defense.
Well, in the first quarter comes to a close, and Johnson and McKelvey played the entire first quarter. And here they are back out again to start the second.
Ravenwood almost running this offense with number 23, Danny Brown, as a mid-range goes up for number 11, Brooks Brown. No good. Rebound by Ravenwood.
Easy rebound, Johnson, but they are just not letting them be clean. Every time there's a rebound, there's a hand swatting the ball.
And I think one thing this Nolensville team is doing so far this game is they're rushing their possessions. They're not slowing the game down. They're really forcing these possessions to end quick, and we saw that in Tucker Powers in that last shot, missing a wide open layup. They're just rushing this offensive attack, and they're not letting this team settle.
Coach Gadice, you could see on the sideline calling. He wanted more pressure on the offensive player, and he just wasn't getting it. And there again, more points in the paint for the Raptors. Drew Parker drops a quick 2.
Yeah, and something we expected from Ravenwood was actually not points in the paint. We expected a lot of mid-range. We expected a lot of three-pointers, but they've really dominated the paint so far, and even the glass, which is something we expect Chris Johnson to really focus on.
Nolensville just trying to find some rhythm on offense, settling it down, dishes it out. It's number 4, Tucker Powers. Powers out to McKelvey. McKelvey out to Carroll.
Carroll, not a guy who's talked about a whole lot, but a guy that really passes the ball well, averaging almost 6 assists per game.
McKelvey can't get it to fall, and the basket is just closed on the Nolensville side of the court, it seems.
Ravenwood a 7-point lead with 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Something no one expected. Nolensville was a heavy favorite going into this game, and Nolensville looking for their first win in regional play after a loss to Brentwood last Friday. Brooks Brown looking for an open opportunity. Caudle, top of the key.
Ravenwood moving the ball around, just looking for the right possession.
Brooks Brown again for an easy floater. Ravenwood finding every open opportunity possible, and this Nolensville team just looks like they're sleeping out there. McKelvey puts up a 3. No good. Rebounded Ravenwood.
Ravenwood's got to be shooting somewhere near 700. They haven't missed much, whereas Nolensville couldn't buy a basket right now. Just ice cold.
Good backdoor cut by Will. McCarter there unfortunately couldn't get a grasp on the ball. It's going to be ball Nolensville. Nolensville not finding the open shot. They're either forcing a 3 or taking a contested mid-range or even a layup. They need to use their 6'10" big man and Chris Johnson. They need to use their size and get open shots, and if they're contested, it has to be a layup.
Well, Gadice on the side telling his kids to just settle it down. But I don't know if I'd be telling them to settle it down. I'd be telling them to fire it up because they are looking flat. Johnson double teamed quickly, dishes it outside. Gray out to McKelvey. McKelvey back into Johnson on the inside. No room for Johnson. Gets the rebound.
And see, that's just an unnecessary pass from Johnson there. He had a wide open path to the rim. That's where we have to put up the 2s. It's not going to be 3s only to get back in this game. I know they're down 9. 3 threes gets them back, but that's not how they're going to win this game. That is too inefficient, and Johnson just has to go to the basket there.
Cooper backs down on the inside. Again, doesn't fall. Not open for business just yet. McKelvey with a big block on the big man, follows it up with an air ball.
Nolensville
Brock Wismer tried to force it in, had nothing. Nolensville quickly down court. McKelvey from a deep three. Just not feeling it right now.
McKelvey's been known to make shots late in the game. He hits those clutch shots. But if he can't get into a rhythm, that's not going to happen. They're not going to have the opportunity to hit a clutch shot right now. Ravenwood up 9. 3 minutes 40 remaining.
Well, and just like that, the ice has kind of grown on the Ravenwood rim as well, as they've missed 3 shots now in a row.
Both teams struggling offensively to find open baskets and even just making those open baskets. And Nolensville gets the first free throws of the game.
Well, it didn't go in, but Nolensville is going to have to do just that. They're going to have to pressure that inside and draw fouls, even if the baskets aren't going in, because they're not hitting from the outside. So at least McKelvey there took it strong to the basket. He's going to shoot 2. Misses his first one.
Yeah, and we saw in the game earlier, missing these free throws is how you get down big. Not taking the points that Ravenwood gives to you is going to be a problem for this Nolensville team, especially with guys like Sam Steppen on Ravenwood who are playing consistent all night.
McKelvey hits his second. That's the first point Nolensville has sniffed in almost 4 minutes. Ravenwood shoots the 3. Swish.
Matt Nava, one of the most dangerous guys in the county from the three-point line, has been so big for them from the perimeter all season, averaging almost 3 threes per game.
Hill in and out. Ravenwood pushes the floor. McKelvey with the dish, and 1.
Ravenwood taking a 13-point lead with a free throw to come, 3 minutes remaining in the first half, and this is something no one expected coming into tonight.
Ravenwood's looking for a blowout here, up by 13 early. Still a lot of game to play. Nolensville calls a timeout. 3 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Ravenwood 29, Nolensville 16. Nolensville stunned here in what was anticipated to be not as much of a battle tonight.
Nolensville going to have to rethink their game plan because nothing is working for them, whether it's offense or defense. The only thing keeping them in the game right now is the Raptors missing, to be honest. The Raptors have had a lot of shots that they could have made, and Nolensville's not hitting those shots, and that's what's putting them down 13 with a free throw to go for the Raptors with 3 minutes remaining in this first half.
You know, sometimes teams just aren't a good match, whereas Nolensville seems to be a finesse team, work your way in, take good shots. But really what's happening tonight is Ravenwood is just out hustling in every phase of the game. They're out hustling Nolensville, and it's why you have a 13-point deficit right now. The smaller guys are out hustling the bigger guys for rebounds. They're getting open on the threes, and they're hitting their shots. And Nolensville is just bewildered right now.
And that's similar to how Ravenwood had games earlier this season, lost to Independence twice so far. Independence, one of the smaller teams in the county. Sometimes these teams just don't match up well. And this Nolensville team, if they don't pick it up, it's going to look like that's going to happen tonight.
Hill drives underneath. Nothing there. Passes it out to McKelvey. McKelvey's going to look. He drives. And there you go. I said it earlier. That's exactly what needs to happen. McKelvey drives, drops 2, and drops the lead to 11.
Looked like a bit of contact there, surprisingly not called, but McKelvey is one of the best drivers in the county, and he does such a great job at getting to the rim and making these tough baskets when there's a lot of guys in his face. Sam Steppen checking back in for the Raptors, coming off a 15-point night against Columbia just this Tuesday after breaking their 3-game losing streak. White gives it to Nava. Nava for 3, and it's good. A deep 3 for Nava. Goes in, his second 3 of the night. He's now got 6 points.
Nava shot that from behind the scorer's table there, it seemed like, and that was nothing but net. Ill-advised leaving him open alone like that. Johnson looks on the inside, cannot get it to fall. Raptors up by 14.
That was that Clarke range you were talking about earlier. Steppen, 3 in the corner, no good. Rebounded by Ravenwood. There's just more hustle from this Ravenwood team.
Wismer just out-hustled 3 Nolensville players under the glass to get the rebound. Hill on the steal, couldn't get the ball cleanly.
Brody Cooper fouled on the play, taking a little bit to get up. It looks like his left hand is hurting him a little bit.
I think Nolensville was looking for a technical on that one because that was a pretty hard foul on number 3.
Yeah, his left hand doesn't look like it's doing too well right now. He's holding it, he's stretching it a lot. And this is a big player for them. Brody Cooper becomes such a strong piece for this team late in the season after a junior season where he stayed on JV.
Shooting 2 will be the Knights, trying to bring it to 20 here. First shot up and good. Needed some assistance from the backboard and the rim.
Trying to cut the deficit to 12 on a, quite frankly, we thought would be the opposite. We thought Nolensville was going to be the one up 12 early.
Second shot is up and no good. Nolensville gets the rebound. Out to McKelvey. McKelvey looks. Back down to number 2, no good. Rebounded by Nolensville. Johnson up, no good. Johnson again gets his rebound and that time puts it in. Cuts the lead to 11.
Something I want to point out there is Brody Cooper went up with his left hand. He got hit pretty hard. He's still stretching it a little bit, but looking a lot healthier now. Nava for 3, no good. Rebounded Nolensville. They're going to try to get the ball in quick transition here.
Nolensville pushing the floor with under a minute left. Inside to Johnson. Johnson back dishes it out. Back out to Hill. Hill looks. Nolensville shoots the 3, no good. Hill tries to get the tap, or McKelvey rather, tries to get the tap in. Doesn't get it. 36 seconds left here in the first half.
Steppen looking for a 3. Finds Nava.
Hill tried to get the steal, but got called for a foul.
Hall gets subbed out after that one. Looks like number 10, Luke Carroll, going to sub in for him.
Nolensville can't let a basket fall here with 25 seconds left. They've got to try to keep it near 10 points so they can get some kind of rally in the second half. Ravenwood trying to set it up.
Ravenwood looking to have the final possession so far. Knights gonna have to do something special. Number 2, Will McCarter for 3. No good. It's gonna be
out of bounds. Nolensville is gonna have about 13 seconds to make something happen.
And it looks like they're gonna target Johnson here going up the court. It's gonna be McKelvey, Johnson, Cooper. One of those guys is gonna have the final shot here. It just depends on who they're gonna look for. If they're gonna look for a shot in the paint.
10 seconds, got a quick foul there. 8.6 seconds left here. A 3 would be huge.
3's not falling too well for the Knights so far tonight. Their guy from the 3 in right now is Cooper and McKelvey. If you see go to one of those guys, it's probably going to be a 3.
Deep 3, and that's going to be an air ball. So after the first half, Raptors 32, Knights 21. Ravenwood just came out all over the court.
Really a shocking start so far. I don't think anyone saw an 11-point lead to Ravenwood going into the half here. Really impressive to see how physical they've played.
Well, and you'll have to see how it ends here with us on your WCTV Game of the Week. Doug Capella with Jacob Hammer. We'll see you after the half. right, here we are back, second half, and what was an unexpected first half for Nolensville as they take possession and they are down by a score of 32-21. Really had a hard time hitting the bottom of the rim for a large chunk of the second quarter.
Yeah, this deficit mainly coming from just missed shots that they've been making all season, and that's what it can come down to. If they don't make their normal shots, it's not going to happen.
Well, and that's a way to start the half. An and one there, drops 2 points and is going to go to the free throw line is number 10 for the Knights, Luke Carroll.
Carroll been a undermined guy all year. People have looked over him. They have not recognized how important he is for this team, but he is so physical and he is so good from the three-point line, and that's where he excels.
Carroll, the son of Lipscomb University's head basketball coach. A lot of coaches' kids on these teams, it seems like.
Yeah, they've grown up around the game. They've grown up with mentors of the game, and that's really how you get better, having so many helpful people in your life.
Bad turnover on the inbounds pass there for Ravenwood. They call a timeout. They've seen enough of these, what has been 26 seconds of sloppy play here.
Yeah, the Nolensville section getting louder and louder. It looks like momentum is coming back and life is coming back into this team. Great start to start the second half for Nolensville, and Ravenwood's going to really try to get rid of that momentum as fast as they can, because Nolensville can easily make a 10-0 run, and we've seen that happen before.
As bad as the Knights have played, they hit a 3 off of this possession, and they're down by 6. We'll see what happens as after the timeout. It looks like Nolensville, though, just wants to kind of slow it down and get back into the rhythm of their offense and not force baskets, which led to a lot of turnovers in the first half.
Nolensville coming out after halftime pretty late, not getting any warm-up in. You wonder what Coach Gadice was telling his players in the locker room, trying to get them back into a groove for the second half.
Well, after how that first half went down, I have a few things that come to mind of what he said to them in the locker room. But we'll see. It seems to have worked up to this point as they seem much more efficient and calm would be the word I would say. Johnson tries to get the shot to fall and misses off of what was almost a turnover. And just like that, Raptors go down to the floor. Quick shot and a miss there by Ravenwood, and McKelvey pushes the ball down court, tries to get the tip, and it does. The lead by Ravenwood cut to 7, 25-32.
And that's where McKelvey thrives. He is such a physical guard. He gets to the rim with so much power and so much force. He gets anyone out of his way, and he's able to move the ball and move his hands around and get the ball perfectly in, and that's just such an impressive play by McKelvey there.
Wismar tries to block or push Johnson down and go with the left hand. It doesn't fall. Inside to Johnson, there's a turnover. Ravenwood pushes it down, gets the block, and the pass goes errant and out of bounds. Nolensville finding the hustle that Ravenwood had in the first half, looking to close the lead here on this possession to just 5. Currently down by 7 are the Knights. Carroll brings the ball up, dishes it inside to Johnson. Johnson looks to the outside. Out to McKelvey. McKelvey inside. And there's going to be a foul on number 33 for the Raptors. That's going to be Isaac Brent.
In that last game, we saw a lot more whistles in the second half than the first. You wonder if they're going to keep that pattern going. These refs had a lot of calls in the first. We saw a lot of free throws in that first half. You only know if that's going to go up from here. This game's getting a lot more physical.
They try to throw it high to Johnson. Pass is no good. Quick turnover. Raptors capitalize, push the lead back to 10. And Carroll right back up court, seemingly unfazed. McKelvey looking to take the game over. Both baskets don't drop. Nolensville settles it back down. Carroll at the top. Ball inside to Johnson. Johnson dishes it back out. Back up top to Carroll. Carroll back out to the wing. Shot is up and good. There's the three Nolensville's been looking for all night. Cuts the lead to 6.
Yeah, in these first 3 minutes of the second half, Carroll's been super conservative from the three-point line. He's had a lot of open looks that he's not taking, and that's exactly why he needs to take them. He's such a crucial player for this team. When he shoots that three ball, he needs to keep that going. Now getting his first points of the night. Nolensville not letting the Raptors get into a rhythm to start this second half.
McKelvey dishes it out. That's going to be an offensive foul on the Raptors. Coach Hooper not liking what he's seeing over there on the side, giving a little talk to the officials.
This Nolensville section getting really loud, letting the Raptors know what they're doing, not letting anyone get in the way of them making this comeback.
Two things for Nolensville. They are content with letting Carroll guide the offense up the court, and McKelvey has come out determined the second half, driving the lane, and again, right inside the McKelvey. McKelvey dishes to Johnson. Johnson up and in. The lead is now down to 4. Ravenwood looking a little shook for the first time since early moments of the first quarter.
Ravenwood defense starting to slip up a little more.
And another turnover just like that. Carroll looking up court, slows it down, dishes it to McKelvey. McKelvey looks, dishes it outside. Back to McKelvey up top. McKelvey out to Carroll. Carroll back to McKelvey. Carroll wide open for the three. It's up. Bounces in and out, no good. And there is Ravenwood on the rebound.
Yeah, and that shot from Carroll might not have gone in, but this Ravenwood defense is getting sloppy. We saw 3 guys getting stuck in the paint on that play, leaving Carroll wide open. They cannot get sloppy. The way they won this first half was by staying aggressive and swarming the ball when they needed to, and we haven't seen that yet this second half.
Well, and I said it early on, they've done everything to stop Johnson, which they've held him to about 8 points. But what Nolensville had to do was get other contributors involved, and Carroll is one of those kids that can definitely shoot the three and make some baskets.
Yeah, you hope McKelvey would take this game over a little more than he has so far. He's been the big guy after Johnson so far for this team. You just know he's going to pull something off late in this game that's going to show why he is such a great player in this county.
Carroll to Gray outside. Gray back to Carroll. Carroll out to McKelvey. McKelvey back out to Carroll. Carroll looks, thought about it, gives it back to McKelvey. Back out to Carroll from Johnson. Johnson to McKelvey. McKelvey looks and gets called for the travel.
McKelvey just a little icy so far this game. Hasn't gotten into a rhythm. Hasn't hit those deep threes that he's been looking for. And hasn't been able to drive and get to the paint as much as you would have liked to see previously.
Lead down to 4 for the Raptors. It's almost as if the floor got flipped at halftime because Nolensville looks every bit of what Ravenwood looked like for a good way through, midway through the first, through the second quarter.
Steppen, no good. He's become pretty icy to start this quarter. He's a guy that scored 15 against Columbia just this Tuesday. That's a guy you'd expect to make these kind of mid-range shots.
Call on the floor goes. McKelvey's fouled as he drives the lane.
Looks like a push on number 11, Brooks Brown for the Raptors. Brody Cooper, number 2, checking in for Nolensville. Taking out McKelvey.
Great to inbound to Johnson. Johnson's looking. Out to Hall. Hall back to Powers. Back to Hall. Hall to Powers. Power to Hall. Back to Powers. Inside dish is no good.
Cooper came off a little strong there, just wasn't able to get the finesse to put that ball in the basket. He now guards Steppen as Steppen runs up the court off to White. White to Brown. Brown looking for a man. Has Danny Brown in the paint. Out to Steppen. Steppen to the corner for 3. No good.
Off the rim and the backboard. No good. Ravenwood on the rebound.
Johnson gets a hand on the pass. It's going to be Raptors ball on their side of the court. Raptors 34, Nolensville 30 with 1:56 remaining in this third quarter.
Kind of ice cold on both ends of the court. Not a lot of scoring in the last couple minutes here. McKelvey, checks back in for the Knights.
Something to note for this Ravenwood team, Brooks and Danny Brown both coming from Lipscomb Academy. This their first year off a transfer.
Stepping on the quick 2 there, pushes the lead back to 8, or correction 6. Hall running the offense from the top. Thought about the 3, decides to hold and pass. Inside to Johnson, Johnson back out to Hall. Hall out to McKelvey. Working the perimeter back to Hall. Hall shoots a 3, it looks like it got tipped. Wide open 3 there for number 4. That's going to be Tucker Powers, in and out, doesn't fall. Ravenwood gets the rebound.
Yeah, and those are shots you normally see go in for this team. Nolensville is a high percentage shooting team even when it's from the perimeter, and these shots are just not falling for them today, and that's what's gotten them to this point of being down 3. Danny Brown, spin move, behind the back, foul on the Knights. Brown's gonna have 2 shots.
Yeah, if that fell, that would have been a big blow for the Knights, who've really rallied in this second quarter and brought it within 6.
And
that would
Brown
have pushed it to 8 and a shot, so we'll see if Brown can make his free throw here. First one falls, pushes the lead to 7, 37-30.
Brown really represents the physicality of this Ravenwood team. He is such a big guy, and he does such a good job at getting into the paint, forcing people to get out of his way, and even doing finesse moves like that spin move we just saw.
Second shot up and no good off the front of the rim. McKelvey in control of the ball. Just under 50 seconds left here in what has been a very fast-paced, quick third quarter. Another foul on Ravenwood. That's 4 already here through the third quarter.
42.5 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Ravenwood 37, Nolensville 30. A 7-point lead for the underdogs so far.
42 seconds left to go here. Hall is going to go to the line and shoot 2. First shot up and good, cuts the lead to 6.
You can almost hear the Nolensville student section louder than the Ravenwood, and Ravenwood's right in front of us. This game has flipped the script entirely from what this first half was.
Hall shooting his second. Shot is up and it's good. Lead cut to 5. 42 seconds left.
I believe that's the smallest lead since the end of the first quarter.
Ravenwood forced to call a timeout there because they're about to get an inbounds clock penalty.
Ravenwood just entirely off of their groove so far. Hasn't had any chance to make a rhythm and start hitting their shots. None of their players can get shots to go down. The rim is closed for Ravenwood so far, and maybe it's just that side of the court.
You know, I believe Ravenwood's only scored 3 points this quarter. Correction, 5 points. They had 32 at the half. So 5 points in the second quarter.
Both teams just not making shots they typically do. A lot of open floaters, a lot of open shots from the 3, just not falling for both of these teams who have pretty consistent players. This is a low-scoring game for, I think, both of these teams, especially for Nolensville.
And well, with 42 seconds left in the quarter, both teams are going to have an opportunity here to close out with a basket. And what it does say is this fourth quarter is going to be action-packed for sure.
And that's where I think McKelvey's going to come in for this Nolensville team. He has been kind of slow so far this game, but he is known specifically for hitting these shots late in the game, and that's why Gedice was so excited to have him join the team this year.
Ravenwood got the ball inbounded. Hall trying for the steal, and there's the foul call.
Hall, I believe, looking for a travel there or even an over the top.
It looked like Hall fouled him about 3 times, but he only got called for 1.
36 to go in this third quarter. Ravenwood up 5. on a game that has not gone how everyone expected it to so far.
Carroll checks back in for the Knights. May get an opportunity for a 3-look here as the third quarter draws close to a close.
Ravenwood looking for the last possession.
15 seconds left. Five seconds left. Ravenwood sinks to 2 right there at the end of the quarter. That's going to push the lead to 7.
Nolensville chopping into the lead a little bit in that third quarter, getting it down to 7 points. Still not exactly what they want to see, but they started that third quarter off pretty hot. And if they can do that same thing for the fourth quarter, we're going to have a tight game at the end.
Well, and that's exactly what Nolensville needed to do during that third quarter. They had a bit of a mountain to climb because of how sloppy they played during the second quarter, but they did exactly what they needed to do. They got the lead back down in the single digits, 39-32. They kept the tempo up and they put the pressure on Ravenwood. And if they can duplicate that, it's going to be an exciting finish here for the WCTV Game of the Week, featuring Ravenwood 39 hosting the Knights 32.
Yeah, and a lot of this comeback's been made by the unsung heroes for this Knights team. Tucker Powers, a guy who's had a big impact so far, just a junior. Now, Luke Carroll, sophomore. These are two guys, kind of unsung heroes for this team that have become really important.
You know, it's funny, at the end of the first quarter, I think it was 15-12, and I was like, man, this game's going to be in the 80s. And here it is in the fourth quarter. It's 39-32.
Yeah, both teams playing so physical on defense, and these refs letting them play physical. They've called fouls, but for the most part, this game has been above average on physicality.
Nolensville will get the ball to start the fourth quarter. Inbounds to Carroll, does McKelvey. Carroll over to Cooper. Cooper back to, Carroll. Carroll to McKelvey. McKelvey on the perimeter, back to Carroll. Johnson almost had the alley-oop dunk, but he got the foul, and he's going to shoot 2.
Yeah, Johnson, that's a big part of his game. He had a couple dunks last Tuesday against Columbia. Had a dunk, got called for a technical foul last Friday against Brentwood for holding onto the rim.
Makes his first, cuts the lead to 6. Nava back in for the Raptors, who was a big catalyst on that second quarter run when he hit 2 straight threes. See if they can get him going here in the fourth quarter.
Nava, a guy that gets really hot when he's hot, but has to stay hot for them to stay in this game. If he starts missing, it's going to be a problem. But they need Brody Cooper to start picking this up. He's been pretty icy to start this game. If Cooper could get in a rhythm, that's where this Nolensville team is going to do well.
Sloppy drive there by the Raptors.
So much physicality in this game.
I'm not believing what I'm seeing. It looks like there's about 7 fouls on that play and not a single one called. Nava not even close on that 3 ball.
Look, these refs are letting these kids play. It looks like they're playing football out there.
I mean, McKelvey looked like he was mugged on that drive and nothing called.
Nothing can go for this Ravenwood team.
McKelvey out to Carroll. Carroll open from the line, decides to hold it. Shoots to the perimeter. 3 ball up and no good. Both sides just ice cold shooting.
Yeah, an extra pass there from Gray has McKelvey wide open on the wing. Surprised that that didn't happen. But these are shots that guys like Gray normally make.
Johnson out here on Nava.
Not entirely sure what the call there is, but we're going to have 3 substitutions for the Raptors. A lot of the bench coming on. Steppen coming back in the game, the leading scorer for this Raptors team.
I really don't know what the call was right there.
Looks like they were just getting substitutions in. Not entirely sure what the ref was looking at there. Number 12, Brooks Caudill, the sophomore, kind of running the point for this Ravenwood team. A block for Chris Johnson, his third of the game.
Under 6 minutes left here. 6-point game. 39-33, led by the Raptors.
Raptors really drawing out their possessions, wasting as much clock as possible. The Knights need to start picking up the pace here. And I think he just put his legs in that ball and rolled up.
So jump ball there. Possession goes to the Raptors. McKelvey checks in after a brief break out.
See on your screen the number 33, Isaac Brent, the 6'4" senior for this Raptors team. He's been such a strong focal point of this team in the paint, and his strength has really been able to box out and get the rebounds that they were really getting in that first half that they need to find in this second half.
Ravenwood drives, gets a clutch basket there. That's going to push the lead to 8.
Brent now 9 points on the night, has become such a crucial player for this Raptors team. Nolensville having to come a 9-point deficit now.
Foul on Ravenwood. I believe that's going to be their second team foul.
Both teams could probably get called for a foul on almost every play I've seen so far. Lots of physicality so far in the second half.
The officials are for sure letting them play in this one.
Cooper going to be inbounding. We'll see if he tries to go to a man on the perimeter or tries to get Johnson down in the paint.
So just over 5 minutes to play, Nolensville down by 8. They're going to have to go on some sort of run here at some point and put some points together. They can't keep exchanging baskets.
Yeah, and the shots are just not falling right now. They've had the opportunities. They could definitely be on a run. Shots are just not falling for them. They've got guys like Gray. They've got guys like Carroll. Shots are just simply not going in, and Johnson has not become the focal point that he has been this season.
Cooper set to inbound. Out to McKelvey. McKelvey looks for the three, doesn't take it. Carroll inside to Johnson. Johnson out to Hall. Hall drives inside to Johnson. Johnson drops an easy 2.
Call that an announcer's curse. As I say it, Johnson puts up a big bucket to cut the lead down to 6.
Ravenwood really trying to stretch possessions here and run some clock off. Stepping out dish, block Johnson. Johnson blocks and gets the rebound.
Such a physical player on the glass. He loves getting those blocks and getting the rebounds after. It's so important for this Nolensville team to keep the ball in their hands and not let Ravenwood get it for too long.
Out to McKelvey. McKelvey looks, has Carroll to the right, gives it to Cooper. Cooper looks inside. McKelvey drives, can't get it, shoots an air ball. Stepping on the rebound. Carroll up close on D. 4 minutes and counting.
Ravenwood has a big lineup in for their standards besides number 3, Braden White. They have some of the larger players on their team, and as you see, Danny Brown getting ready to sub in, probably the largest strength-wise player on their team.
Ravenwood looks content to just waste clock. They haven't even looked for a shot.
And Nolensville needs to recognize that. They need to get something going here. What they're doing is not working so far.
Ravenwood just took about a minute off of the clock right there and hit a 2-pointer.
And Braden White, the junior, one of the fastest players on the court, and let alone fast, he's so explosive. You saw him bounce off of that pump fake and just get straight to the mid-range. Such an impressive play for the 5'8 junior.
Ball doesn't fall for Nolensville. Ravenwood gets the rebound.
Yeah, that felt like a crucial possession there. It feels like them not making that is really going to be tough for Nolensville to make this comeback, especially after a make from number 3, Braden White, again becoming one of the best players on the court in the clutch.
McKelvey for 3, up and good, swish.
And we talked about that earlier. We knew McKelvey was going to come late in this game and come alive and start making shots. That's what he did at Centennial, and that's why Gedice was so afraid of him when he was at Centennial, and why he's so happy to have him on their roster now. McKelvey's going to be the guy to look at in these final moments when they're looking for threes down the stretch. 2 minutes and 36 remaining. The Raptors 45, the visiting Knights 38, and a 7-point lead for Ravenwood in this fourth quarter.
Gedice is going to have his players really up the pressure that they're applying on defense. They can't just let Ravenwood come down here and drain a minute off of the clock and then sink a 2-point basket. Yes. They've got to force some turnovers. You're probably going to start seeing some fouls here as it gets closer into the under 2-minute range.
And you really hope for Nolensville that their section starts getting louder. A lot of the time that noise can get in the head of the Ravenwood players. And right now it's quiet in that corner of the gym. And Ravenwood's just going along as they want. They don't have to go up for a bucket. They're not even looking for buckets half the time. They're getting 40, 50-second possessions, and that's not going to give Nolensville a chance to score these last 7 points that they need.
So Ravenwood, 2 minutes, 36 seconds to pull the upset over visiting Nolensville. Down by 7 are the Knights.
And we both know that this rivalry is big and anything can happen. Records do not matter in a game like this. And mind you, Ravenwood doesn't even have a bad record. Nolensville just has that great of a record that we set Ravenwood as this underdog.
Ravenwood gets the inbounds in. And there's the pressure we talked about and the foul.
Feels like we're going to see a lot of that in the next 2.5 minutes, trying to get guys like Danny Brown at the line who might not be as strong from the free throw line, trying to get anything they can going for this Nolensville team.
Yeah, this is going to be a long 2 minutes and 27 seconds for sure.
See BJ Hall there getting really physical. No call. Nolensville looking for a steal. Heaves it down court. Wide open under the basket. And an and one for Ravenwood. A chance to go up 10 with 2 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. A heavy foul from Ryland McKelvey there.
Yeah, McKelvey hustled down and tried to get the block, and Wismar was able to get the 2 and the foul. And that's going to push the lead to 9. If Wismar hits this 10, that's almost... I mean, we're getting to the point where there's just not going to be enough time on the clock left to make this comeback.
Yeah, Wismar looks tired, and he is struggling. He's got his hands on his knees, and he's still making these shots, especially under pressure like that from Ryland McKelvey.
Wismar misses his shot, so lead still 9. McKelvey pushing it down court. Over to Carroll. Carroll back to McKelvey. McKelvey to Johnson. Johnson to Gray. Gray over to Carroll. Bad pass across the court. Goes out of bounds. Ravenwood will get possession.
And you really expected the Knights to turn up the most when the time was running low, and they haven't. They've had careless turnovers here, giving the ball back to Ravenwood for free, not even making them work for it. Nolensville is not putting on the performance we expected. Coach Gedice is not going to be happy with how his team has performed here late in the clutch and throughout this entire game.
Lead cut to 11 there as the Raptors break the pressure by the Knights.
Brent with 11, Ravenwood, numerous starters over 10 points, and it looks like that's going to be the dagger for the Raptors. I don't see Nolensville making this 11-point comeback in just a minute and 42 seconds where they can't get anything going. A Nolensville possible comeback turning into a Ravenwood breakaway win with 1:40 remaining in this fourth quarter in this rivalry split by Split Log Road.
Well, the Knights are going all in on defense and committing pressure, and what they're doing, they're leaving a man open underneath. There's a big three to cut it to 8. But with just over a minute to go, again, there's a man open underneath, but Ravenwood's going to pass it around. We're going to have to commit a foul here. There's the foul by Johnson.
Nolensville still doing everything in their power to make this comeback, though unlikely. 8 points, 1:16 remaining. They're going to do anything they can. It's going to see a lot of three-pointers down the stretch here. You're going to look at McKelvey. You're going to look at number 14, Beckett Gray, and Carroll. It's going to be a tough stretch and a long 1:16. The Knights not able to force any turnovers on Ravenwood right now, not giving themselves a shot without a foul here.
So your score with just over a minute, Ravenwood 49, Nolensville 41. Jump ball. Hall had to climb the ladder there just to even get his hands on the ball.
They're running football routes out here.
So possession arrow is going to stay with Ravenwood, but that was a good play for Hall to flip the arrow.
Steppen looking to inbound. Number 10, Beckett Williams fouled. He's now going to get a couple shots for the Raptors. Raptors looking to make it a 10-point game with just 1:11 remaining.
First basket falls. That's going to push the lead to 9. Carroll checks back in for the Knights.
Ravenwood looking to pull off the regional upset to push Nolensville down to 0-2 in the region in their first 2 games against Brentwood and Ravenwood.
Second shot is up and it's good. Lead now 10. Carroll pushes it down, passes inside. Shot is up and it's good. Timeout. Nolensville lead 8 for the Raptors. Minute 2 left on the clock.
Beckett Gray really becoming a strong player for the Knights down the stretch here. He's making the crucial shots. He's got their last 5 points, keeping them in the game. It's still an 8-point game. There is still only a minute remaining, but Beckett Gray, one of the unsung heroes of this team, trying to keep this Knights team in the game. Ravenwood has done such a great job at forcing Nolensville into tough shots. You see the shot they just got, a hard mid-range cutting left. Nolensville, nothing is coming easy for them right now, and Ravenwood couldn't have it coming any easier. You see Coach Hooper there talking to his players, telling them, keep onto the ball, do not let Nolensville get a hand on it, and we will win this game. Let them foul you and keep pushing. Ravenwood going to do anything in their power to keep this ball out of the Knights' hand. We've seen some football routes. We've seen some quarterback throws here. Nolensville's looking to foul and get any 3 they can. 3s only for this Knights team down the stretch. 1:02 remaining. The Raptors 51, the visiting Knights 43. An 8-point lead for the home Raptors with a minute remaining.
Raptors complete the inbound, get it up court. Hall applies the pressure. McKelvey's there. .45 seconds left. Steppen in. Bangs the shot. Lead 10.
Nolensville was trying the foul there, and the refs still aren't calling it. A physical game being called from the refs. Steppen only 8 points after his 15 performance just the other night. No good on the 3 for Nolensville. Rebound twice, not good. Brody Cooper misses. Steppen gets the rebound out to White. White pushing up the court, and he's just going to hold it. And both of these teams are going to accept this final score. 53, Ravenwood, 43. The visiting Knights, and Ravenwood is going to get a 10-point win as underdogs against the Nolensville Knights.
And there you have it, folks. Raptors pull away with a mild upset here, 53-43. Knights got some work to do as they enter region play. That was your doubleheader WCTV game of the week. First game, Lady Knights take it home. Second game, Raptors take it home. I'm Doug Capella with Jacob Hammer. We're signing off. Have a good holiday weekend, folks.